So welcome to this video where we've already established our patient is in cardiac arrest, done our dynamic risk assessment, moved them from a confined space, reassessed the airway and then remove clothing, used an AED to shock the patient and do chest compressions. Now I've got a colleague, someone else is doing chest compressions for me. I'm going to concentrate on just the airway. So continuous chest compressions are going on. We know that defib will reanalyze every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes we should change who's doing chest compressions. So because I'm on the airway, the first thing I'm going to do is look at using a bag valve and mask. So this would be attached to some oxygen. With the mask, we make sure the kind of pointed bit is over the nose, and I like to put it over the nose first onto the chin. Now we've got it in place, I'm going to hold it on with 2 hands, so my thumbs come down the mask. My index fingers then come all the way to the jaw thrust position, and I pull the jaw into the mask. If I thought there was any trauma, I would only want to do this, but if this was medical, I could also add some head tilt to it as well. So just to go through that again, the pointed bit goes over the nose onto the chin. My thumbs come down the mask pointing towards the patient's toes. My index fingers come to the angles of the jaw and I pull the jaw into the mask. My colleague then would do 30 to 2, so 30 chest compressions followed by 2 ventilations. So they would squeeze the bag on this and they would just do it about 1/3 of the bag and they would do that over 1 second and they would do 2 of those. If I wasn't happy with the airway, I could then escalate up the airway and I could look at using a nasal pharyngeal. So with my nasal pharyngeal, they've got a curve to them and there's a chafer at one end, and this part is to stop it going right up the nostril. We measure it from the center of the nose, the point of the nose, down to the angle of the jaw, where we did the jaw thrust. And it's an estimate on this. As a general rule, a size 6, a smaller one, is for an average female, a size 7, an average male, but then we have got a larger one, a size 8. The right nostril tends to be slightly larger, so we start off with the chafer towards the septum, and once we are in the nostril, we then come up so we can push that straight down. Don't go up the nose, push it down, because then that will go into the oral pharynx. If we was going to do this in the left nostril, we then start with the chafer towards the septum, but the curve is the wrong way. So as we go in, we then have to rotate around, but again we push straight down, so either side. I could then bring this back on, and then my colleague could do 2 more ventilations. So the aim is I get the nasal pharyngeal on whilst they're doing their 30 compressions, which is roughly 18 seconds. If I wasn't happy with that, I could then go up to a oral pharyngeal airway. So again, we find the angle of the jaw, so where we did the jaw thrust. We place the oral pharyngeal airway on that finger, so it's level with the jaw there. So you can see, I've just turned the head so you can see, you wouldn't do this in your patient. And then the flange should be level with the incisors. So the actual measurement is from the angle of the jaw to level with the incisors. It's that upright position. So we find that, and then that's level there. We then invert, insert, rotate, locate. If they gag on it or we have to remove the oral pharyngeal airway, it then comes out towards their toes. So I'll go through that again. So we've got the angle of the jaw, the oral pharyngeal sits on there, the flange is level with the incisors. Once we've got the right size, we invert, insert, rotate, so it's like a corkscrew, we're going round and down at the same time, and then locate. And then again, I can put my bag valve and mask on, and we stick to that gold standard of that 2-person technique. If I'm going to up this again, then I'm going to go to an supraglottic airway device, such as an eye gel, and I'll be doing that in the next video.